And we are live. Hello and good evening. Welcome to Reality Hour. I am Adam Samuel. Today we are doing our coverage of the season finale of American Idol Season 18. It is a big night. We had some big results. And for such a big special episode, we have a big special guest. Catie Turner from Season 16 is joining us. How you doing, Catie?
I'm great. How are you guys?
We
We're
are
doing well. This is awesome.
so excited to talk about the show with you. Also joining us is my co-host Eric. How you doing today, Eric?
I am doing good. This results show was a surprise in many ways. I was not expecting to win the draft at the last minute, and then suddenly I did. So there's that. No crown for me, Adam. I don't have a crown, and unfortunately, um, I'm not buying one. There's nowhere to buy one.
It finally happened. We did 3 seasons of the show. Eric has finally won the draft, which is the big headline of the show because we have our winner of the season. It is Just Sam. Catie, this is kind of exciting news.
No, it definitely is exciting. Also, being that she was one girl against 4 guys who American Idol usually loves. You got Dylan with the guitar, and then you have Johnny. Like, she was up against some pretty big fan bases there, and she ended up being victorious. So I think that's pretty impressive just by itself.
Absolutely.
Eric, thoughts on the winner?
I'm shocked. I mean, I picked her as first in my draft. I'm still blown away that she was able to win. As we've talked about, or at least alluded to in the past, American Idol usually votes for white men, and to vote for a black woman, when there are 2 white men and two other guys in the finale, with 4 guys who could have won, and then Just Sam, and Just Sam won, which was awesome. And it's a good thing. I think vote splitting had something to do with it, definitely. Because usually we only have 3 people in the finale on ABC Idol, and we had 5 this time, and that I think some of the guys' fan bases were competing, and I think Just Sam was able to ride through that to victory. So
I think I would call this finale historic for 2 reasons. 1, for our winner, and 2, for being quite possibly one of the worst finales of the entire show that I've watched. The winner, incredible. I mean, we had our first minority winner, our first minority top 2, our first top 2 with nicknames, and also our first Idol winner to not get a confetti shower, which is a little bit a shame. But overall, it's just such a different season, and it's so weird, and it's perfectly reasonable that this is kind of the end, and I love it, is all I can say.
As the title of this episode alluded to, my favorite moment of the night, and possibly the season, was when Arthur Gunn's family thought he won.
Yeah, I was confused. Did they think he won, or were they
thought he
celebrating
won.
like, oh yay, like
Top 2.
Yeah, I don't know, because when they're like, oh, the winner is Just Sam, they had champagne. And they were like,
I'm saying before that part, when they announced it in the top 2, all the confetti was fired by his family. They thought he won.
It was hysterical. I will say, I went to sleep before the show finished because I thought the show was going to end a little predictably, and I had to get up early, and I was like, But I woke up at 4, and I look at my phone, and I let out an audible, like, what? It was when I saw the results, and it was such a weird feeling, and I felt so bummed that I didn't get to watch it live. But my reaction, a lot of people, I'm seeing a lot of hate for Just Sam. I don't get it. Me personally, I'm the opposite. I'm glad that something different than what was so obviously going to happen happened. I am so glad that we have a different winner, someone who's going to, like, I hate to say this, but if Arthur Gunn had won season 18, of the white guy with guitar winners that we've seen, I would have put him all the way at the bottom. Just Sam
He's
is
not a white guy, for one thing, but
of
the guy with guitar winners, he would have been near the bottom.
But Just Sam is so different and so kind of exciting that I can't help being excited for her win.
Yeah,
I mean, but what's unfortunate though is Idols kind of made it apparent that like they don't treat their winners as well as the runner-ups anyway. So I feel like American Idol on ABC is kind of established, like, you don't have to win for, like, them to claim you. Because, I mean, Alejandro was getting shout-outs every other episode.
My favorite thing I saw on YouTube was Alejandro mentioned drink. One of the comments. It was great. But yeah, clearly, that's true. I think the difference is I think the production was behind Just Sam from the beginning. And they weren't behind Lane, and they weren't necessarily behind Maddie. And so I think that's the difference. I think they were clearly. Just Sam was like the way they edited her run throughout the show and the way they handled it. It was clear that they were totally happy with her as the winner. So
yeah,
I will say, like, Just Sam's run on the show was built as a winner. Like, in the first episode, she got the pimp spot. She got like a 10-minute stretch. She was kind of, I can't help but feel people are calling foul. Like, oh, the judges, the producers kind of pitted it a certain way where only certain time zones would really get the brunt of the vote. Probably, I feel like they wanted this result. I feel like they got what they wanted. And it's just the story. It's her story on the show. And also, I just, going back and watching her songs, all the songs kind of fit into the same story of rising up, of kind of just stronger, what doesn't, like, every song choice was kind of built on this narrative. And she is the perfect story contestant. And I think she's I don't think she's the best winner or even top tier, but I would say she's a solid winner overall.
I mean, like you said about the story, my grandparents literally called me and they're just like, wow, Just Sam, her story. Like, so it was very apparent what she was reaching, and she was reaching the prime voting demographic. But also when people like shout rigged, like all the fan bases, they're like, rigged, rigged. It's like, when I was on the show, like, it is against the law to change the votes in any way. Now they can do editing and try and like persuade people in their favor, but there is no possible way that Idol producers can hide votes or steal votes, because that's like literally illegal. Just Sam won because the people voting aren't the people commenting on Twitter that Arthur should have won.
I also think that the weird thing is that because they started capping the voting in recent years, and you can only vote like a certain number of times per contestant, I'm sure Arthur had a lot of more diehard fans than Just Sam did, quite possibly because of the sheer number of views on YouTube, at least, which suggests so. But they only can vote 30 times each, so Just Sam, as long as she has more fans, they're not be as passionate. They just have to be able to vote 30 times, and then she can win. So
Definitely.
It's such a strange, because when we go from the top 7, I mean, we lose Julia, we go into the top 5. Just Sam is our only girl remaining. Kind of every other contestant in that top 5 kind of fits a narrative of previous winners, and to kind of just see her kind of win, I don't know what to make of the results, like how she got there, how she got the votes. The only thing I could think is it's the fact that it aired on the East Coast, and maybe she's from the, like, I don't. That's not really.
I mean, I think it did it left a little bit of a better taste in my mouth that they didn't do the coast to coast thing this year like they did last year, the year before. I did like that the past 2 years where everyone watched it at the same time, everyone voted at the same time. It wasn't like there that way. I didn't like the whole like West Coast can watch online and vote without watching performances. Like anyone's gonna do that.
I don't know. Let's kind of pivot this into kind of the actual breakdown of the episode, because one of the things that we kind of got lost in that happened in the first 10 seconds of the episode so quickly was we have the cut from 7 to 5, and in that 7 we lose Louis Knight, and we also lose Julia, who,
sorry, Adam.
I was really upset about Julia.
I was crushed. I was crushed about Julia.
What did you think of the results of these two, Catie?
I mean, I just was shocked because just doing the statistics in my head, I'm like, oh my god, they're being overpowered by men. Like, this is very, very, like, this is probably not going to go in a female's favor, which sucked because the female talent this year
Was way better.
was way better. It was so strong. Justice for Sophia. But no, Julia getting cut, I think, just crushed me because I was just like, damn, like, just one wrong week for her, just one kind of off week cost her what should have been her spot, in my opinion. Honestly, she deserved to be there just as much as, I don't know, who would I take out? Shit, who was there again?
Dylan.
Oh, I'm already forgetting.
Dylan.
Dylan,
Well,
I would take him over Dylan, yeah.
I mean, our final five that we're left with is Dylan, Johnny, Arthur, Just Sam, and Francisco. I think I would just swap Dylan and put in Julia. But once I heard that Julia was cut, I was almost like an all top five male.
Would have been the deserved.
It's what the show deserved because it's just to put a bow on this kind of messy season. But we didn't get that. We got a girl in the top five, and somehow, miraculously, she ended up
somehow.
That's I feel that this the motto of this season. Just Sam won somehow, but good for her.
The season continued somehow.
But Louis Knight, really quickly, just to memorialize his run on the show. Overall, nothing really spectacular that we got from him, I feel. So I think this was a good place for him to go out, Eric. Catie, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I'm saying about Louis Knight. I think that we've seen so many idol contestants like him before. So many like blonde boys who can sing at a piano and like wink at the camera, and like there's been many of him before,
but they haven't been British is the difference.
True, but just knowing the overall talent this year and like the talent that was let go in that like harsh slaughter cut, I don't think he should have even made it that far. I think there should have at least been Lauren Spencer Smith, Kimmy, Gabriella. Just there were so many other people who got robbed, Franklin, that I think Louis kind of outstayed his visit on American Idol. But overall, solid dude, and British.
Yeah, for our first British contestant, I think on the.
No, there had to have been one before him. I don't know who, but there was someone before him.
Anyway, well, we get to the actual performances, and one of the things that stood out right away is the theme is the song that you would celebrate the end of of coronavirus, which was what was
that really the theme?
I think that was one of the themes. A song that you would celebrate the end of this situation.
That wasn't it.
I'm pretty sure that's what it was. I wrote it down.
It was a song that would celebrate your way into the top 5.
Well, then I got that wrong.
Same thing. It's a celebration.
Yeah, I guess.
It was a celebration theme, but Adam's theme was a little bit too optimistic.
Oh, that would be actually really like morbid if it was like, surviving the coronavirus, because Sam's song was "What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger."
That's what I thought was so weird. I thought like some of these songs were so strange. I guess I just misheard it, and that makes me an idiot. But the one other thing, I guess, before we kind of talk on the contestants is we got some news about there being satellite trucks outside of houses. Did that make any difference? Did you guys know?
Really not. We saw the ending. It was like whatever, but yeah, no, that didn't help.
Grace in the chat says Holly Cavanaugh was born in England. How did I forget that? Anyway, so let's talk about some of these performances. So as we do on Reality Hour, we kind of talk about them together as a whole. So for Dylan, we get Change the World and The Times They Are Changing. Pretty uninspired song choices, I thought, on paper. These song choices as a whole, these were not, I feel like the peak of our performances this episode were a B+, maybe. I thought, though, The Times They Are Changing was the better one of these two. The first one was kind of boring and same old, right, Catie?
I think that when I was watching Dylan, the word that came to mind was safe. Like,
Safe,
it was good, but it wasn't like a finale moment. Like, it was good. That's what I can say. So it wasn't like anything different. Like, it was what Dylan's been showing us all season. We know he can sit there and sing with the guitar on his little stool. It's what he's been doing the whole season. So yeah, it was very safe. I think I didn't really think, oh yeah, he's like really trying to win this thing. Like, he's pulling out all the stops, because it was just everything he did the previous weeks before.
I mean, for me, Dylan never gave a performance below a B minus, but he also never gave a performance above a B plus. And so the problem was it was consistently fine, but never anything that truly got me excited. And that's kind of sad. And I kind of wish he seemed like a nice person, so I kind of wish I got excited about something he did, but I just didn't.
I almost would kind of echo Eric a little bit, but I think what Dylan did is that he knew what his strengths were. He can't sing Kelly Clarkson songs. He stuck to his lane, and his lane is.
To be fair, almost no one can. But
I'm just saying, but like he knew what he can do, and he didn't try to veer away from it. And I can understand that, but I feel like at some point you got to also ask yourself, like, the performances are starting to run the same. Like, they're all kind of interchangeable. They're all kind of the same thing. I was kind of waiting for something different, kind of maybe for him to do something like take a modern song and flip it into his style. And that's what I was waiting for. And because I didn't get it, I don't have anything to take away from Dylan. He was on the show. He sang. I don't really take much away from it, though.
I think live shows on a normal Idol stage, I think the lighting and the set changes and the wardrobe and the like would have helped maybe differentiate whatever that word like his performances. But since he was singing at home and we were seeing the same background pretty much every week, that's why I feel like it felt really, really similar every week.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that he really could have benefited from Idol's like big stage and like the lights and the wardrobe and the backdrop. And unfortunately, that didn't happen.
I think they all could have benefited from that. But yeah, I think the two that most could have benefited from that would have been Dylan and.
Well, I think Francisco benefited from it not being live.
I was about to say that. I felt like it played to some contestants' strengths and the others' detriment. And I think Francisco, who I guess we'll talk about next, he got the check plus from this kind of different format. I mean, his two performances, Adore You by Harry Styles. First of all, I thought, because I wrote in my notes, I thought the theme was something different. And I was like, what does this have to do with the theme? But that and Alaska, I thought they were better. I don't think we saw. I think Francisco was marginally better than Dylan, but I think these two performances kind of didn't show the best of what he can do. What did you think, Catie?
I mean, I'm biased towards Francisco because I am exactly the demographic the producers wanted to like Francisco. And the fact that he's like was singing a Harry Styles song, I did find myself doing that teenage, oh my god, whoa, I love him. But on an unbiased note, I think Francisco was one of the strongest people for this format because every performance Francisco's done has been consistent. Like, if people were having a wonky night, Francisco was constantly steady throughout the whole season. And though Adore You wasn't my favorite performance of his, like his previous weeks and everything, it was solid. And I think that's what I can say about Francisco. There was never a night where he was god awful, or like, you always could look at Francisco and go, yeah, he did good. He was one of the strongest. Yeah, good job.
Yeah, I liked going into the episode. He was my favorite of the five. Leaving it just him was probably my favorite, but I will say Francisco, I love the fact that he picked so many songs from X Factor alumni. That's probably my favorite thing about him. That he picked James Arthur last 2 weeks ago, and then he picked 2 Harry Styles songs throughout the competition. So I kind of like that. I think that the first performance was fine. and the second one was a lot better, I think.
I agree. For me, I think Francisco not making the top 2 is kind of the bigger shocker for me. And I kind of want to pose this question to the both of you. Where did he go wrong? What did Francisco do wrong in his show that stopped him from winning? Catie, do you know? I don't know.
I feel like maybe people assumed. I think it also could be something of people knowing the idol formula assumed who was going to be safe and who wasn't. So maybe they didn't give their votes to Francisco because they're like, he's fine. Let's give it to someone who like needs it. And I think also that's maybe why Just Sam got a lot of votes because she was the only girl. And I think people were like, oh shit, and we just got to throw votes to her. And I think maybe that hurt Francisco, but maybe also the fact that there are a lot it's the same thing of like Louis Knight. Now I think Francisco was stronger than Louis Knight, but it's a boy who is kind of Shawn Mendes-y, like singer, songwriter, and the industry has so many of them. And I think Arthur Gunn had just such a huge fan base that he was obviously going to be top 2.
Yeah. I think with vote splitting, honestly, I think that Francisco and Johnny and Arthur all kind of took some of the same fans, and I feel like of the 3, Arthur was gonna have the more fans. So,
all right. Well, let's talk about the actual winner of the season. It's still crazy for me to say. We Just Sam doing What Doesn't Kill You Makes You Stronger by Kelly Clarkson and Rise Up, which I got to say, Rise Up is getting to that point of being overdone on these shows a little bit. I used to love this song, but I can't hear it. Like it's kind of played out at this point. I thought What Doesn't Kill You was not the best song choice. I thought Rise Up was better. Maybe even the performance of the night, which makes me a little sad that like I wanted one A+ performance this season, and I feel like there is one inside Just Sam, and we just didn't have enough time to get it out of her because of this format. But yeah, this is the finale. I was expecting a little bit more. What did you think about Just Sam, Catie?
I think what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. I think that wasn't her best performance. I think it kind of sounded a little karaoke to me because she pretty much just sang the song exactly how Kelly did it. There was nothing like it. She wasn't adding her own personal style to it. There was nothing that was making her stand out when she sang that song. So I think that for me was like one of the weaker performances of the night. But like you said, I think Rise Up was way better and played to her strengths. And I do agree with you that if I have to hear that song one more time, as like that is the go-to emotional song in all these reality shows from The Voice to America's Got Talent. If
well,
you
America's
have
Got
a
Talent
sob
has been
story,
pushing to "You Are the Reason" by Callum Scott more lately, but
I think yeah, Just Sam, yeah, shit. Like you said, Adam, I can't believe that Just Sam, saying Just Sam is the winner. But like not in a bad way, but like holy shit, she defeated the odds.
I never even put her in like the consideration for the winner just because I didn't think she could. And now that I know that she could, I'm a little bit disappointed for not like looking at her more because on these shows you can be so quick to disregard people. And I feel like this season kind of showed that you can't just write someone off and they do still have a chance. And I'm happy that is now a thing.
unless they get the wild card, unfortunately.
What was
wild
that?
card, you're so screwed.
Wild cards are screwed on American Idol.
I mean, I think that I disregarded Just Sam not because I'm just like, oh, she can't win, but because we all kind of, it's sad to say, but American Idol has a typical winner that you usually can point out. And usually when you watch the show, you can pick one of them. It's like, okay, you guys are top 5. Like, America's going to love you. It's like, it was just a nice moment for Just Sam to win because it proved like, okay, you really can't guess. Like, you can't go by like what middle America is going to vote for. Like, she she won, and that I would never have seen that coming. I thought Dylan would be the safest like option for Middle America to vote for, but I'm really happy that Just Sam, proved us all wrong and made me, now interested in watching again next season. Because it's like, oh shit, I can't predict who's gonna win after all.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't agree more. I will say, I think the problem with Stronger, the song choice, was that she sang it the same way Kelly did. And as the thing is, Kelly is an amazing singer, has amazing pipes. Sam just does. Sam's a talented singer, a talented artist, does not have the pipes that Kelly has. Almost no one does. And therefore, by singing it the same way, she's just doing a lesser version of what Kelly does. And therefore, it's like, being that they both started on Idol, it's kind of like a bad song choice. But I think Rise Up, was the exact right song choice for Sam to reprise. I'm happy she won overall. I think she actually is probably my favorite APC era Idol winner. I know.
I would say Maddie. I love Maddie.
I know you would, and I know you probably would too. And I know a lot of people in the chat probably would. I'm sorry, Maddie fans, but I Just Sam's probably my favorite Idol era winner.
Season 16 is still my favorite American Idol in recent
season as a whole. Season 16 was the best.
One of the best, Catie, and you were one of the shining stars of it.
Thank you, guys. I am pissed though because I keep bringing this up, but I'm still so bitter about it. So they start sending the contestants to Aulani, Hawaii, top 50, paying for the resort and everything. It's beautiful. It's a paradise. Wow. They're finding out their results in seeing the waves in the background. My mom constantly reminds me that she waited in a downtown LA alley for 8 hours waiting for my final results, smelling the trash. That was Season 16's view. And you couldn't sit. They had no chairs, so you just had to stand in a dirty LA alley. While meanwhile, on all these new seasons of American Idol, they're out here having big reunions, wearing leis, going
I will say, you got to go to Disney World at least.
Yeah, and I can say that was pretty cool. But speaking of Disney, to go back to last week, I don't know what I feel like Disney Week is one of the easiest weeks. They're just not picking the right songs. If these people actually did research, there are so many good Disney songs. We need to stop going with these really basic ones. That's my rant as a passionate Disney fan. Thank you.
When you were on your season, how did you land on your song that you actually performed? What was the thought process? Was the entire Disney catalog open to you? What was kind of the limits of the song choices?
Well, I think it had to be it had to be known as Disney. You know what I mean? I don't think I could have pulled a High School Musical song. Technically, I was oh, it was.
Those aren't known as Disney?
I just think that was outside. It was the Matrix almost. It's no, I know it is Disney, but you can't do Disney Channel songs. But I was gonna sing a song from the Jungle Book, and then they're no, Maddie's doing a song from the Jungle Book, and I was so pissed. I was no, wow, I was being angsty, and then they're oh, but you get to twirl on stage and be a princess, and I was okay, cool, I'll take that one, and that was how I decided my song.
If you could reprise and do one more Disney song, not a reprise, do one more Disney song. If you could have picked a second choice, what would a second Disney song have been?
So This Is Love. Whenever I hear that song, I'm so surprised that no girl has sang So This Is Love. Their vocals could be so good. That could be a defining moment for them. And no one's picking it. Instead, we have people picking Moana and You Got a Friend in Me. If I have to hear that song one more time, I was so scared that on Disney Week, Louis Knight, his dedication to his mother, I just saw You Got a Friend, and I thought it was going to end in me. And I'm I don't think you can do that. You can't pick this. But that song haunts me. It follows me.
I'm surprised we didn't get Into the Unknown. I thought someone was for sure going to be doing that.
I've learned that Idol's just full of disappointments. So
I have a feeling Michaela might have if she made it.
American Idol has low lows and really real highs. Like when it's low, it's low. When it's high, it's high. And I'm just waiting for us to get to that high. We got glimpses of it in Maddie's season and your season, Catie. And I'm just waiting for something. This season we never had that moment. We didn't have it even last season, I would argue. The last big moments were just season 16. And these two seasons back to back have been kind of,
I feel like the results this season kind of screwed us over out of some good moments. I think for several contestants we lost in top 20 round who could have easily delivered some amazing performances had they had more chances. So
I think that's what's unfortunate, because I'm glad that they took the inspirational route of like, we can persevere, we can still do the show must go on. I'm glad they went that route, and I'm glad it worked. But unfortunately, I'm like, they gotta at least, because there's a rule when you audition, and after you make a certain number, you can't
do it
audition
again. Yeah.
But I think everyone on this season deserves a second chance, just because they didn't really get the full experience and they were kind of screwed over doing everything by themselves. And I think if I just look at some of those people in those performances, especially in the top 20 round, and I just kept thinking, this would be so good if the crowd was there. Like, they would be screaming and hyping you up. It could be a moment, but they're not. And I think that hurt some of like the powerhouse belters. Like, I think that hurt Lauren, like Spencer Smith. Like, the powerhouse singers really would have benefited from a live audience of being there. And I think they gotta let them come back. I wish they deserve it. The talent on this season was amazing. They deserve to go back.
Alyssa Ragu came back. I mean, so I don't know when the cutoff is. I mean, it used to be top 24, but Alyssa kind of broke that. So who really knows when it is?
It's
top 10.
Mm-hmm.
Good. Hopefully we see Lauren next year.
All right. Well, we kind of got off topic a little bit, but let's kind of talk about the runner-up of this season, Arthur Gunn. We got his two performances, and one of them kind of gave me terrible flashbacks. I Don't Want to Be, which is the One Tree Hill theme song. And what was the other one? What was
Have you ever seen the rain?
Have you ever seen the rain? I got to say, on paper, Arthur Gunn looked like the runaway winner of the season. After these two song choices, I'm a little glad he didn't win. I feel like these performances were not a good, strong reflection. Like, at least Just Sam had some moments. I felt like we never had anything close to a moment with Arthur Gunn. Everything was kind of straightforward. I mean, these song choices were just I Don't Want to Be is just so overdone. And like I said, it's the One Tree Hill song. Like
I will say, at least it hasn't been done in several years. So we got a little bit of like a break from it, but I won't forgive him for bringing it back. I will say, having said that the song choice was awful, I kind of did like it. I kind of liked the performance, the first one.
I mean, I can't fault him for picking that song. Even though it was a shock, like I said about Dylan, like, at least Arthur was stepping out of his lane a little bit and just like working the camera and his like leather jacket and everything. But I think where Arthur really shines and what he should have brought to the finale was his Hey Ma performance, like the folky Hosier Bon Iver sound really works for him. And I think he should have like maybe leaned in a little more of that during the finale of All Nights.
Yeah. And I think the second song choice did him in. I think if he picked a different song for the second round, I think he might have had a shot. But because he already did that song twice, and because the second and first time he did it, he changed the arrangement so much that kind of would. A lot of people who like that song would not like that performance of it. And so I feel like a polarizing performance like that is what held him back from winning.
I really didn't like the second one. I felt like there's flipping a song and making a new one, and I felt like this was not CCR is Have You Ever Seen the Rain? This was, I keep going back to that example from season 9 of Todrick Hall when he took the Since You've Been Gone by Kelly Clarkson and he just flipped it into, I don't even know what he did. And this was another example where this was not that song. And I'm like I said, if he had won, he would have ranked really, like, at least Just Sam, there's something there, but I would have ranked Lee above him, like, as a competitor, because at least Lee had moments. I feel like Arthur never had anything close to a moment.
Arthur was always on key all the time. I'll say that. Sorry, I had to say it.
Any other thoughts, Catie, on Arthur or his run? What did you kind of make of him?
I think when I immediately saw him, I knew it was like, this is another Alejandro moment. And then just from that, I was like, he's probably not going to win because he is another Alejandro moment. So I always knew he'd make it far, but like, history repeats itself in a way of like, they will constantly always be number 2 and then the fan bases will go to war. I feel like it's a nice little tradition Idol has now, you know, making people mad. But I think he really would have had a shot if he didn't pick the second song, because it was, I don't know how he got away with that. Like, I don't know how they even let him do that arrangement, because it was so different. It was a complete new song. Because I wasn't even really that familiar with the song, and I just knew, I'm like, this is not that, because I would wait to the chorus, which I did know about that song, and it was just never coming. I could never piece it together. So I think if he would have went his more indie folksy like route and did that for a second song, or even picked his audition song.
Well, it wasn't an audition song, is the thing.
No, but he did it this was his audition song, but he did it as he played it straight. Like, this was.
Oh yeah, see, that's how I literally don't know. Like, he changed it that much to the point I was like, that's the same song you sang?
Yeah, this was the second time he did it with this arrangement, the third time he did it this season. And I think that, I mean, of course it was going to be his last song, because, you know, he wanted to really have a single close because he liked it so much. But I just, yeah, I'm not a fan. I feel like that arrangement cost him the victory. That was inevitable from the start, but I guess it wasn't inevitable. So.
All right, well, we move on to a contestant who I feel like is kind of getting lost in the shuffle weirdly here. Johnny West, we got his 2 performances, You Can't Keep a Good Man Down and Making Love, which was an original song. He was the only person to do an original song for their single, which I felt like everyone should have, like, where's the going gone?
Yeah, absolutely.
We should have, each one should have gotten, like, that should have been the easy part, like the original songs. Like, that's some of the most fun of the show. I mean, I still listen to Maddie's Going Gone. Like, I love it. It's just so good. And I felt like at least Johnny tried. Like, at least he's like, okay, I'll use this one because they don't have one for me. But You Can't Keep a Good. Go on. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say that's where he really shined, like his original. That was where I was like, wow, he may have a shot.
I felt I liked the fact that they just made different from the original song, but I also felt like the original song was what cost him the victory. Actually, I feel like the part where he rapped is what ended his chances of being the American Idol. I do, because I feel like Johnny's demographic and people who like rap probably do not intersect very well, and so I thought if he took out the rap, I think it would have been a different story. I think I was expecting him to win until the rap.
I think that the first song, he needed. I wanted a moment from him. Like, I wanted one, like, big kind of drag me an A+ performance.
Second song was close to it. I think other than the rap, if you took that out, I thought it was his best performance.
I thought the first one was a bit of a throwaway, honestly. The second one, it was much better. I would say it's in competition for me with Rise Up for best performance of the episode, but still, even that, I would give it a B+. I thought it was solid, and I because I discounted Just Sam, I wanted Johnny to win this season, not just because he was on my draft, but I thought he would have made a good winner, and this was kind of giving me some shades of why I would have wanted him. But do you guys think he had a chance, Catie?
Yes.
I do. I think it's also because he was one of the ones who also was being really pushed by the producers. And I mean, Katy Perry literally gave him the endorsement and said, I want you to win. You should be the winner. So it was obvious that, like, the judges, maybe, like, or just Katy, she really wanted him to win. And I just thought on that alone, I was like, okay, I think it's going to be between him and Arthur. And it's just going to be which fan base is stronger.
I was fully expecting Johnny to win. I was preparing myself for it because Johnny was not my thing at all. And I was like, my favorite never wins idol. So you're proof of that right now. So I'm sorry I'm sorry I was rooting for you, Katie, because I kind of cursed you by liking your performances. But yeah.
I did. I also noticed, I don't know if either of you noticed, but they kind of really toned back on Margie for showing him. I don't know what.
He went home somewhere. He went back home, I think.
No, but like they could have like
Skype
had like a cutaway to her. Like I was almost thinking that was strategic in a way because maybe they found her a little bit too much and they kind of wanted.
No, it's more that they found her to be someone who prevents fans of Johnny from pretending he's single.
Yes, I think actually that's what I was thinking. Like when I said they're not showing Margie because they want him to win because they want to pretend like he's kind of solo dolo and like people can kind of.
I remember when Chris was on Idol, they never showed his wife because, yeah, that's why.
What do you take away from this, Katie?
I mean, at first I was confused because in the beginning, it was so evident that Margie was there. I mean, for God's sake, she was setting up the damn camera for him the first time, and it was very obvious. And I kind of thought like, oh shit, did they break up or something? But then I did see Margie in the corner when it said Johnny's friends and fans, and like she was like in the corner holding a thing, and I'm like, okay, Margie's still there. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why she just kind of suddenly just really backtracked. I don't know if that was her reading some of the comments online and her making that conscious decision too, or
I think it was that he went back to his parents' place, and she didn't.
But Margie's been such a big part of his story, like always in Hollywood Week. I would have thought they would have like Skyped her and they would have found a way to put her in. I felt like there was a decision not to have her be a part of it. Weirdly.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, but that's kind of the contestants, and we had round 1, we had round 2. For me personally, I thought round 1 no one wins because it was all just kind of.
I think this season no one wins.
Who won round 2? I said Sam and Johnny, but honestly, it's. I don't think there was too much of there was not a runaway winner here, Katie.
There definitely wasn't that one like moment where it was just like hell yeah, like you know how like Chris Allen like literally pulled out like Heartless at the last minute, and then it was like, oh, that was his way. Like he suddenly just swept it all away. That one performance. Yeah, there was nothing like that
this season.
Yeah.
There were no like show-stopping performances this season. I will say, do anyone want to talk about the other performances that I've had between Johnny's last song and the winning moment?
I mean, I do want to say before we even can get to that, like, did either of you find it weird that we have Johnny perform, we come back from commercial, voting is closed, like, very suddenly. I was like,
you think they would have given it more time?
Given it like, because I'm also reminded of in Maddie's in your season with when she was in top 5, like she sang, and then once she finished, like they cut the voting, but she still ended up making it through. I did think there was maybe some strategy here. Maybe I don't know. Did you think anything of it, Katie?
I think that I just think, and this is a season 16 complaint, and it'll forever be a complaint. I just think the days of like really amazing Idol finales are over. In the sense,
don't say that.
Well, no, I mean like how like the voting it was like a two-parter and the voting was overnight and everything and not live. I would have loved that for this finale. I would have loved it if it had 2 episodes so it didn't feel so rushed, especially with 5 contestants we have to go through, because their send-off was really awkward. It's like, top 2, here it is, and they looked at the Zoom like, bye.
To say the least. That was gloriously awkward. I mean,
I just wish that we could at least
have them
overnight.
say goodbye, have a sentence each, maybe, you know.
Even the cuts at the beginning were just so quick. It's like, thanks for coming, bye. Now, like,
The cuts at the beginning, actually, if the 2 got cut out at the beginning, got more time to talk than third, fourth, and fifth did.
super awkward, just so strangely put together.
Any time to talk. Yeah, I mean, the result. I feel like last season's finale was 3 hours, and that was a bit much as well. But I feel like they could have done more with this finale. I mean,
especially this is supposed to be such a historic moment. Like, we're doing this in quarantine. This is so historical. Yay. I would have thought it would have been, they would have tried everything in their power for it to be a bigger deal. Or, God forbid, send somebody in to celebrate Just Sam's win with her. Do you know how sad it was seeing this girl hug an iPad when she just won American Idol? I'm like, you couldn't just put someone in a hazmat suit to jump around with her and confetti can her? I was so sad.
yeah, it was
super, like, just strange. I do want to say one kind of big highlight before we even get to the results. We get the celebrity performances. I actually think the performance of the episode was Katy Perry's music video for Daisies. I thought that was really cool.
When the hell did she do that? Luke Bryan gets a green screen and like a bunch of like people like all on green screens, looks really like cheap, like a Zoom call. Meanwhile, Katy Perry, is she on the official Idol stage? Like, I think
No.
she's actually in a like, where is she? What is
I don't
going
know.
on?
Whatever it was, my takeaway from her performance was that I missed the American Idol set.
My takeaway, I don't think she was performance of the night though. I think it was the Garbage Man. I think the Garbage Man was the biggest damn shock of my life. Seeing this man with slicked back hair and a leather jacket and veneers, I was like shook to my core.
He looked like a different person, and he sounded really good.
That was it. I'm like, holy shit, why is this guy who isn't even on the show, who got kicked off during Hollywood Week, round 1, why do I want him to win right now? Like, why is he suddenly coming into the pot? I'm like, can I vote for him? He sounds damn good.
I think for performance of the night was what's her name? Cynthia, I think is her name.
Cynthia Ervio. I think we Cynthia. There was some weird, like, she performed kind of an Aretha Franklin tribute, and I do think it was. I just finished watching The Outsider, and she's an actress in it and plays one of my favorite Stephen King characters, so I thought it was really cool. But she seemed weirdly out of place here on this finale.
I didn't care. I was like, oh my god, amazing vocals, finally.
I just think they did Sophia dirty because they never really gave her a moment when I'm like, I knew she could really do Aretha Franklin well. I'm like, damn it, why are they just paying her really good voice dust? Why can't they just give her one moment to shine?
Sophia wasn't alone. There were so many people who didn't get moments or got like a sentence of "We Are the World" and that was it.
Like Maddie. Where was Maddie in the We Are the World? I was looking for her. I was like, what? I'm so bummed. Why does the show not like her anymore? She was such a good contestant. And I was looking, I was like, she's gotta be in there. She was like she was the Kelly Clarkson moment of ABC Idol, and nothing.
No, yeah, I definitely was like, oh, like, we have Lane, we have Gabby, and it was kind of just like, where's Maddie at? It definitely was like it kind of seemed a little strange because if they do have personal issues, Idol's making it very apparent. and airing out that dirty laundry, which I don't think is professional. I'm like, you should have just invited her back regardless, because it's just proper. It's the
I mean,
professional.
Phillips had some. Phillips literally like was in a lawsuit with 19, and he was there twice this year.
It's
So
true.
I mean, what did she do? Like, why do they hate her so much? Like, I
Oh no,
still.
it was that drama. It was that drama from last year. And they did it again to Lane this year. I just think they're giving like the winners of their seasons like a Disney song, and then they're giving like the runner-ups like full screen time. And I think rightfully so, Maddie was like, "Hey guys, what the fuck? Why am I singing A Whole New World and not promoting my album on stage?" So I think it was they were just like, "Wow, she didn't like that we made her sing a Disney song that had nothing to do with
with the
her."
album he's releasing in like 2 weeks. Yeah.
Her album's great. I still listen to Made You Miss. Like, there's just such good music, and just good music
Yeah.
from the previous contestants. Catie, I actually love your cover of Circles. I listen to it like often. I wake up early to write, and it's one of the songs I always listen to because it's just such a good cover. And I feel like we should highlight some of our previous contestants on the show, and we kind of just don't, and that's such a bummer.
Well, yeah, I think it's right now American Idol, unfortunately, but they've always done this. They kind of cherry pick their contestants, and I mean, look what they're doing with Lauren Daigle. She didn't even make it past like Hollywood Week, and now they're just like, she's an Idol alum, guys, and they barely even showed her, but they will claim you. Like Tori Kelly, they're like, yeah, an Idol alum, woo! It's just
Woo, we cut her before she had any chance to do anything good on our show.
like Idol has always done that, even on Fox. It's just like, if you make a name for yourself and you were already on Idol, you're getting in the We Are the World special. You're gonna get in that because they're just gonna be like, it's because of us. We did that.
I'm trying to think of a comparison. Like, yeah, we did it, but it's kind of they did it on their own. But yeah, overall, what do we take away from this season? I think the coronavirus ruins everything. Is number one. Number two, Idol still has potential to surprise us. And
Number 3, thank God for Arthur's family for putting a smile on my face.
Arthur's family was amazing. Oh, there's a fourth.
Yeah, number 4 for season 4. I hope all the judges come back for a season 4. That would be good, because I'm kind of thinking, I'm like, with Katie's baby, I'm like, is she still going to be a judge next season?
I think that depends on the paycheck.
Yeah, I mean, well, I'm going to throw my my wants and my desires for judges into the little bucket, the little pot. Dolly Parton. If anyone ever hears that, please get Dolly Parton to be a judge. Thank you.
Sarah Bareilles, I always wanted, would be my pick.
Adam Lambert.
An alumni. Adam Lambert was an awesome judge on X Factor Australia, and he'd be an awesome judge again. So I want him.
But yeah, that's kind of the episode. I will say, if you are listening in the chat and you have any questions for us to discuss, shoot them up. Let us know what you want us to say.
I have a 5. I have a 5.
Katie's.
The other takeaway from the finale is Bobby Bones did nothing.
Correct. That's a thought.
I don't know why Brian was talking to him, and Bobby Bones was really acting like he was mentoring these kids, like day and night, like wiping the sweat off of their brow, like, wow, like he's doing this because of this, like acting like he was involved, but he wasn't. Why is he there? It still blows my mind.
It's grooming. They're grooming him to replace Seacrest. That's the real takeaway I have. What did he do for your season? Did he ever have any advice for you?
We talked about it last time.
Oh yeah, I think we talked about this before.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, for me it was just be myself, and other people he would, like, for Maddie, he took her to a rooftop and made her like yell at the people down there, like scream to the world, you know, like truly like embrace her voice and go, ah. So that's what he does. It's nothing that we actually can use for our performance. It's nothing like I could go on stage and apply to what I'm about to sing, which would help me like get to another round. And it's mostly just something along the lines of be yourself. It's like if you got a like inspirational like notebook from Claire's. That's where he's getting all his.
Okay. On that note, we do
Go
have to
on.
talk about this though. Catie got a record deal in the past couple of weeks, which is awesome, and we're so happy for you. I'm assuming you probably can't talk about it, but anything you can say about it?
It's with APG Atlantic. So APG is under Atlantic Records, but Atlantic is like
A big label, big deal.
it's like sharing two parents, you know. Like Atlantic is my stepdad, my rich stepdad, and APG is my mom. So that's pretty much the deal. Charlie Puth's on my label, and Kehlani, and Envy a Young Boy, and Bad Baby. If
And
that's something,
on Atlantic, so
if that's something to brag about, Bad Baby. Danielle Bergoli, Catch Me Outside is on my label.
You need a selfie with her.
All in all, Corona ruins everything. But we got a deal, so Corona couldn't take that away from me. Whew.
How are you handling the quarantine?
I mean, listen, I have a mental illness. Okay, I have depression, so really isolating myself and being inside at all times, this is nothing new for me. Like I did that for fun. I did that anyway. So it's nothing different. Like I never went outside anyway. So I'm like, hell yeah, this is great. But it got tired after a while. Like at first it was like, oh my god, I don't have to see anybody and I have a great excuse and no one can blame me for it. And now it's like, now this is boring. Now I'm tired.
More time for Animal Crossing.
Mm-hmm.
I have not played for 2 days because it stresses me out. My eyes so ugly.
Ryan in the chat says Catie Turner, Kelly Clarkson, and Bad Baby coming for the next Lady Marmalade. Marmalade.
Iconic.
All right. Well, any other comments, Eric? You want to talk about the season, the show? Catie, any other kind of big things you want to gripes, things, shout outs you want to give to any kind of moments or?
Okay, I'll really think about it. Justice for Sophia James and all the girls who were robbed this season. I'm so sorry. The patriarchy wins. Whatever the fuck. The males win again. Okay, you know what I'm trying to say. I'm so sorry, girls. Garbage Man looks great. Can't wait to see him next season because he's probably gonna come back.
What they'll probably do is they'll probably be one of the ones up for vote on the pre-show thing, and then they'll never show him again.
Yeah, remember Layla Spring? She was supposed to be on. What happened? Were you friendly with Layla? What happened?
Oh no, I love Layla. I love Layla so much. She got cut Hollywood Week.
Which round?
First.
That's awful.
Cut her immediately.
They should.
No, that's why it's a sham, and I felt so bad because I'm like, you're gonna.
What's the point of the whole thing then?
Because the last time they did that with like, find someone on Instagram and vote them through, and we'll give them a golden ticket. That girl didn't make it past the first round, so they're setting people up, like by saying, oh my god, like here's your golden ticket. You don't have to audition, but you'll go through anyway. And then they're just like, but you won't make it past Hollywood Week. And rip it away. And honestly, I was really disappointed. I don't think Layla needs it. I think she made a lasting impression, and I'm waiting for her reality show with Dixie. I think she'll be fine. But no, yeah, I definitely was disappointed because they hyped it up so much. I mean, holy shit, they got the prime time viewing spot for everyone to vote, and she's not even going to be on it. At that point, if you can't guarantee she's going to make it to round 3 of Hollywood Week, why bother?
It should be, I would say, top 20. Like you're automatically in the top 20. You're automatically at the voting stage.
Thing. Like
what?
America's
what was that?
Golden buzzer. Like you get to skip a round or two.
I would just put them to the top 20. Like give them like
put them up to America's vote. Whenever that starts.
Because otherwise, what's the point? Like Catie said, like it 3 times in a row. I think we've had this. Like
yeah,
it's just nothing ever comes of it, and it's like it's being offered a piece of cake, and then you sit down and it's just not there. Like
I mean, Brittany Holmes made it the furthest out of all of them, and she only made top 50. So they're basically just telling you, like, hey, you probably won't make it to top 24. No, don't get your hopes up. And I just think at that point, they got to have at least one person from those competitions just for their, reputation, just for like so people believe them, believability. They need to at least get one of those people to at least top 24 or something of significance.
Catie, if you could change one thing going into season 4 of American Idol / season 19, what would the change be?
Get a mentor that teaches you things. Because what's the point of a mentor? I think they really need an Idol alum who understands the stress of it, understands the mechanics, and actually can give these kids worthwhile advice about singing and technique and how to work a stage instead of just be yourself. And I think that's what we need. And also, I think that, again, I think we need to start coming in. The judges shouldn't be afraid to say, you know what, that was a boring performance. Like we need to get some criticism from them again. And I still feel like they're holding back because they have their reputations at stake.
And that's why I think we need new judges. But personally, I feel like these judges, we've given them for years. They haven't given critiques to people, and I think we need. I think it's time for a change. And I also think that the mentor, if we're gonna get a new mentor, we need to bring them in earlier so they can actually comment on song choice, because I feel like that's like one of the most important things. And from what I've heard from you and from past Idol contestants on other interview shows that I've watched, the mentor never has anything to do with song choice, which is like the only thing that they can actually really make a difference on, I think. And it's ridiculous that contestants are all on their own for song choice, basically, seems like.
I think if they have a theme week, especially like I would have loved a mentor moment for like Prince week. Jesus, maybe my life would have gone different. No, but I mean, for like an artist, not everyone's going to be super familiar with the music of Prince and all his songs. And I think it would have been nice to have a mentor, like use that moment and help these kids individually pick their songs out and like have them sing it to them and actually give them feedback and mentor them.
I've like, always go on. I'm sorry.
It's like, why don't they want the show to be as good as it can possibly be? Is my question. Because if you the best show would be every contestant delivering a knockout performance, and don't put through fodder contestants. Put through people who can win. Set them up so that they have a chance at winning, and just let them fight to the death. That would be an awesome show.
I think every top 20 contestant should be forced into a room to watch 3 seasons of American Idol previous years and just have a coach with them to say, look what they did wrong. Tell me what you can do better. And kind of, we need like that one coach who will sit with the contestants. And when they make a decision, like when a contestant says, I want to do You've Got a Friend in Me, I want a coach who's just going to say, no, that's a bad idea. You're not doing that. That's what I think the show really needs.
Talk to, what was most baffling? Oh, it was a couple weeks ago when the girl, I forgot her name, sang the Houston song "Run to You," whoever it was.
Adriana.
Alana.
Yeah, Alana.
Alana. I'm sorry.
If there was any mentor with like anything to do, who knew anything about the show, that would say, no, you are not doing that. Pick something else. And
They
no.
need Michael Orland back. If you
Him
remember
too, yeah.
him. Yeah,
Michael
they need
Orland
Michael.
is the man.
Mhm.
He is the man. And it's such a bummer that he's not a part of the show. But the thing is with Alana, when she picked Run to You, I feel like the producers were like, yeah, go ahead. Like, that's a great idea.
Walk into that wall.
Like, just they don't care. They don't really have too much of a vetted interest in the contestants doing well. I felt like they're kind of more focused on putting on the show than actually caring if the show is actually good. And I think that's just a real bummer. But
let's talk about the elephant of the things people talk about in the chat. What do you think was up with Ryan's secret?
Yeah, this was kind of made bigger headlines than Just Sam's win. Actually, everyone was kind of asking what was going on with Ryan. He looked Ryan is usually like perfect to a fault, and this time there were some glitches in his programming. There were some mistakes, and it was a bit strange.
Well, to be fair, I think it was because there's a delay in the feed, for one thing. That threw him off. That would throw me off. Second, when Arthur's family thinks he wins and pretends and acts like he just won American Idol, that would throw me off. And I was hosting the show and trying to move on to, hey, the next person in the top two. I hope he's fine. That's all I'll say.
Oh, there's a dog appearance.
Oh, hello. Sorry, he was like being a child and crying.
Who was he rooting for?
I don't know. He's kind of deaf and can't really see well. So
just like my dog.
Oh god, I had such a mean joke. I'm not gonna say it, but let's just say he's voting. No, but
I think I know exactly what you're gonna say, and we're gonna move on from it.
Okay, well, I'm just looking. First winner to not get the confetti. Oh, we got news. Lacey K signed a record deal.
Good for
I've
her.
always liked her.
I liked her too. She's really good. But yeah, otherwise, any other thoughts on the episode, on the season? Catie, Eric, any other things you want to talk about?
I just wish it wasn't so awkward at the end. It was just like, just Sam, you won, and then it was just Lionel Richie and a bunch of people edited on American landmarks. It was very confusing.
Yeah, I'm the one thing I'm sad about is that we didn't get to see Just Sam sing again after she won.
Yeah.
What's her single? I didn't hear her single.
Her single
was Rise Up.
Rise Up.
Oh, they didn't have original songs this year?
Yeah, that's what I was saying about Johnny. At least Johnny had one original song to go.
Oh my god. No, I didn't catch that. Like, I didn't put two and two together. Like,
No,
I thought
the second performance was going to be their single if they won.
Oh my god, another robbery. Now I'm mad again. Really? They don't even get a winning single?
Yeah, they don't even get their own single. I mean, it's sad. I mean, last year only the winner got the single, which made me sad. And then this year, the winner doesn't even get an original song, and that makes me more sad. But speaking of which, I was curious. Did you ever record what was going to be your single?
No, it was the next round, but I got to pick my single.
What was it called?
I think it was Flashlight. Or Spotlight.
Like Jessie J?
No, Spotlight. And it was like
Jennifer Hudson?
It was by Julia Michaels.
Ooh.
And it was some really dramatic. I had a Kira Diaguardi song too. I had three options, and I picked this one. It goes, when it gets dark, you shine a spotlight on the good times. It was a song. So maybe it's for the best.
Should have been 21st Century Machine.
Yeah. It just bugs me that they didn't let them pick the original song as their winning single.
Yeah, why couldn't you have done your original song as your single? That would have been that would have been so great.
I don't know, but then at the same time, they would have made Maddie release "Don't Ever Let Your Children Grow Up" instead of the bop we have of "Going, Going, Gone."
I like it. I thought it was good.
I like "Going, Going." Like
I like it too. And the weird thing is, I don't think Maddie likes it that much.
Yeah.
When I was on tour, and that song came on, that's when like that was my anthem. I love that song. I even liked Gabby's song.
I did too. I still have it on my phone. Rivers Deep. It was recorded by Ella Henderson.
It was written by Ella.
Written.
Awesome song. I'm just mad at Ella. We never got Ella's version. That makes me sad.
I even like Johnny Cash Heart. I was like, Johnny Cash Heart. I'm like, okay, this is a good country
song. Of the 5 that were released, I think the 2 best songs, the 3 best songs were Maddie's, Gabby's, and I think Kate had a good song.
Oh, I remember that they did release Kate and Michael's, and Michael's was like "Come Home" or something.
Yeah, I think it was called.
Kate was like a rock song. It was like he was a rock singer. I don't remember what it was. I think Maddie had the.
Maddie was the best of the.
Maddie was the best from recent seasons. Like I don't even remember what Trent's was.
Oh, like, Trent had a good one. I mean, I like how we're talking about Ring of Singles actually being good songs, but for the longest time they were just awful.
Nick had a good one. Nick's was pretty great.
I'm saying season 11 was the first year where they did together when a little piece of crap song they'd be embarrassed to sing the rest of our lives.
I found Kate's song. It was called "Breathe Out."
Yeah, breathe out. Breathe out.
Breathe out.
I was just like I remember like my favorite when David Cook would sing "Time of My Life," he wouldn't sing the lyric "Magic Rainbow" when it was live because I couldn't sing without cracking up. They gave this gritty rock singer a song that has the lyric "Magic Rainbow" in the first verse. It's just glorious. Yeah.
Katie, who would you say is your favorite Idol alumni of the show?
Not from your season.
Of the entire show, who would you say?
Not from your year.
Haley Reinhart.
Ooh.
I think she sold me just with the House of the Rising Sun like cover from that performance. I was so
what happened? The judges were just shitting all over her for no reason. I'm
so confused. I miss Nicki Minaj and Mariah Carey as judges though. They weren't that season, but just as like a judge.
I rewatched them.
Here's the weird thing. I actually thought Nicki was a better judge than Mariah.
Not only that, I thought Nicki was like, all right, I'm gonna play. Like we're gonna play nice. I think Mariah was the troublemaker of the two of them. I thought Nicki was actually the one who was kind of trying, and Mariah was just. I actually rewatched some of those old performances. I loved Angie Miller. Like she was my favorite on that season. And Janelle Arthur.
Yeah.
There are so many people on this show. And the way I want to end this is by saying I wish these contestants the best. I hope Just Sam does some good stuff, and I hope that the COVID doesn't just destroy her chances of having a career, because I think she deserves a chance. So,
one final question that I have for Katie. This would never happen, but if we ever got an American Idol All-Stars, would Katie be interested in competing?
If we got American Idol All-Stars, Katie would get her ass whooped. Oh my God. I would be out the minute the fucking minute they pull in Journey and like Lauren Spencer Smith and they all start coming at me from left field. I'm out. I'm gonna do a deuces and go back into the 21st century machine. So I would be interested in performing, but note to self for future Katie reference, just I would love a mentor to help pick my song choices, because sometimes I watch them and I'm like, what was I doing? I don't know.
All right. Well, I do just want to say, since this is the end of our coverage of American Idol this season, we will do one more episode, but I do want to say, if you've stuck around with us for the season, if you've watched us throughout these weeks, I want to say thank you for supporting our podcast, for kind of keeping us afloat. If you're still watching at this point, if you made it to this far in the podcast, give us a subscribe, like, comment. I just want to say we appreciate so much the support that's kind of kept this podcast afloat. Eric and I kind of started this on a whim 3 years ago to cover American Idol. Catie was the first season of any show that we covered, and it's been a road. And Catie, I think it's so fitting that you were able to join us here. I want to say thank you for being here. We appreciate your insight, your perspective. Your thoughts can't be beat on this show.
Thank you guys so much. It's always so fun being here.
And best of luck with the new music whenever it's coming. We're excited. So
thank you guys.
All right. Well, like you said, thank you so much, Catie. To our viewers, thanks for following us in the chat. We will be back next week for our season roundup, where we will kind of go over the show as a whole, talk about the highs, the lows, our favorite performances of the season, all that. So stay tuned. But until then, thank you for supporting Reality Hour. We will be back. There's more content coming. And until then, peace.
Bye.
That was so much fun.